Greetings, gentlemen, and also any strange women who enjoy wearing neckties. Today we are going to teach you how to tie the Eldredge Knot, a classy tie that will be sure to help you be noticed at school, church, or the workplace. We guarantee that you'll love your new Eldredge look. While the Eldredge tie is more modern, and such a huge contrast from mundane ties such as the Windsor, we recommend that you do not use this tie in settings such as job interviews or other formal settings. However, we do suggest it be worn to parties, dances, and other less formal settings. Before we begin, there's a few things I should note. This tie would take an experienced Eldredge master about 45 seconds to tie. However, since this is a beginner level presentation, it will take us closer to about 5 minutes to complete. And lastly, as far as choosing the appropriate color scheme for your Eldredge knot, we recommend using a tie that is solid in color or consistent in pattern. When you use a striped tie or a paisley tie, the finished Eldredge effect makes it look randomly placed and it's unorganized and best to avoid. And lastly, you want a tie that is long and has a thin material. For those of you who have never tied knots on your neckties before, we're going to define a few terms for you. For those of you who are more experienced, just bear with this definition of terms. As you can see, you have the thicker end of the tie, which we'll refer to as the thick end, and also the skinny end of the tie, or the small end. We'll also be referring to terms such as the right anchor and the left anchor, and those are simply the straps that go from the central knot around your neck on each side. And we'll also refer to the hole as being the central area in between your neck and the central knot. Now, one last thing before we begin, we should give you a couple warnings. This tie is a more advanced tie, and it might be a little bit harder than what you're used to. So don't give up after the first try. It might take 2 or 3 times till you perfect it, and you can do it without these instructions. And the second thing is that people who have tied this tie have been reported to be chased by and mobbed by flocks of girls, so please tie responsibly. To start out, we're going to place the tie over the neck so that the wide end hangs by your left hand. And as seen in this video demonstration, we're going to just lift it up and again place it by your left hand, the thick end. Next, you're going to want to adjust the tie so that the wide end is approximately 1 inch above your belt line. This is important because we're going to be using mostly the skinny end of the tie. Using your left hand, create a dimple in the wide end. For those of you who have never made a dimple before, you simply place your forefinger in the middle of your tie and then squeeze with your outer 2 fingers and create a dimple. Take the small end across the front of the dimple from right to left. Excellent. Next, take the small end back around behind the dimple, like so. Take the small end up in front and then down through the hole area. And just to remind you, the hole area is going to be this place right here. So up, around, in front, and then pull it down. And you'll want to keep it tight. Give it a few tugs. Take the small end across the front from right to left. Take small end through the hole, starting from the back side. So we've already done this move before, but this time we're going to be doing it from the opposite side. Come around back and pull it up through the hole. Take small end around the back side from right to left. Doing great. You're almost finished. Place the tie through the front loop. And what loop are we talking about? This loop right here. We've just created one. We're just going to bring the small end up and tuck it under this loop that we've made and tighten and pull as needed. Wrap small end of tie around right anchor. To remind you what the right anchor is, it's this upper right part right here. We're going to take the tie up and around this right anchor. Very good. Wrap around anchor again and pull to the left side. Now this is an easy move because we just did it. Again, wrap it around the anchor, but we're going to pull it to the left side this time. Bring small end through second front loop. So we've done a similar step before. We're going to take this small end and place it up through this loop that we just created. This is one of the more important steps because as you tighten and pull, you want to make sure that the main central knot does not come undone. Tuck excess small end behind the right anchor. Depending on how long your original tie was, you should have about this much or longer is acceptable as well. I'm just going to wrap it behind the right anchor. Tighten the knot close to the neck and pull collar down. This is done by placing one hand on the wide end of the tie and one hand on the main knot and pulling it up. And then you simply pull your collar down. Lastly, tell yourself that you look amazing, because you do.